Hope everyone's read the disclaimer. Time to start. Alright, hello guys, my name is DomFX, and we're going to be doing another market review commencing 1st of June. So, new month, new opportunities, pretty much after the end of the month is going to be the end of the first half of the year. April, May, June. Also, July contract's going to start. Well, June contract starting soon. So got to be wary of that. So without further ado, let's start. So we're going to start with dollar. Going to go to the monthly. We're going to look to see. Okay, so here we've seen that movement lower, hit there, went up into 50% of the range, and now we are expecting price to start moving to that level. Why this level? Because it's reached first standard deviation, went back up into close to the zero. This is the best place. Why? Because this is the change in the state of delivery to the low. Just went there. Now, if it starts moving higher, it may want to come here, but at this moment in time, price is currently bearish. So we need to look at that bearish idea. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's look on a weekly time frame. So respected this, it went lower. It used this week's candle to go up into the low of this fair value gap. Why? Because that's disconnected from all of it, so we're going to be using this, the low of it, respected that and started going lower. With that being said, it should start moving even lower. So here you can see went higher, respected the wick, this order block, and moved lower. Not only that, you can now start to see this as the next order block coming up, respecting that. So what we want to see is it start to move lower from here, not give too much bullish intent. If it does, if it starts breaking here, we're going to look for price to start seeking above here, potentially into there. Yeah, that will be what we would expect if it does start breaking those highs. But in this moment in time, if we look at the 4 hour, after respected it, went lower, respected that as well, this breaker as well, and it went up into now this. So what we are expecting here is potentially come up into that wick of this and then start coming lower. You can also see on the 1 hour needs to start moving lower from here if we want any signs of bearish intent. Reason why we're predicting it's not going to continue going higher is it's went up, went lower, took out that buy side and then starting to drop. So ideally we would want it to start heading for these equal lows here. So that means these equal highs for EURUSD on the 1 hour, that will be these. So yeah, that's what we are predicting at this moment in time. Now if we look at the 15-minute, the same as what we're looking in euro right now, we can see that there's a couple equal highs here, so it may want to look to come up into there, fill this, and then look to go lower. That will coincide what euro is doing right now. It's just opened, so yeah, we wouldn't mind it taking these lows out into here, but once it reaches here, we would have to start seeing it respect this level and start moving higher. So that is our bias. We are expecting higher movement from here, so respecting this and then start to move higher into here eventually, and the high up here. You can see on the daily it did the same thing, so went lower, wick lower, went up, respected this order block, and now we need to see this candle start to look to go higher. Will allow for price to come lower to an extent because it's part of that power of three. Accumulation manipulates the opposite side where it would usually go to and then start moving in its intended direction. So we don't mind it coming lower, at least into the area we specified on the 15-minute. Now if it does start to break this, we may look to see, let's look on the weekly. If it does break that, we'll need to see it respect this. If it does break here, then we are looking at this. But yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. If it is, however, respecting that 15-minute fair value gap, we may start to see price run to there, price run to there. That's daily 4 hour, yeah. Equal highs. So yeah, we would ideally want that week run to here. If it does that relatively quickly, we may see a bit of a retracement. If it gets that all the way up to there, we'll only see a likely retracement down to about here. Why? Because this will become that new order block, and then we would want it to reach these highs. What does that mean? It will create that first standard deviation move, and once it does that, it will allow for half a standard deviation as well on top of that, and then look to see price drop back into around the midpoint of one standard deviation to zero, like from the bottom all the way to one standard deviation. We want to see come back. We want to see price come back into like quite in the middle of that range. Now we've got that out of the way. We've got the bias. We've got our intended direction. We'll just look at a bit of pound dollar. So we look on the daily. It's respected that. So if price is going to continue higher, we'll really want it to start moving from here. So let's look at the 15-minute to see if there is any. You can see there is this. So if price does decide to go lower into there, would want it to start respecting pretty well and move higher. Now we've got those three out the way. Let's look at bonds. So bonds we're predicting, let's go on the daily for now. We're expecting, alright, so ZB1 took out that low and moved up higher. If I remember correctly, we said we would want it to start using this as an inversion fair value. Let's look at the weekly as well. Yeah, use this inversion fair value gap. So this week we would really want it to see it move higher, break this high for the next week after that to potentially come lower back into there to then continue higher. Here as well we can see it's using this right now, but we need to see, does it want to come lower, respect this, and start using this as an inversion fair value gap. And same here. That's what we're expecting from the bonds. So if bonds are all gonna go higher as predicted, then dollar is going to go lower. That's just how it is. Inverse correlation, obviously, will be a positive correlation if it was yields, which are opposite to bonds. So now we've got the bonds out of the way, let's look at indices. So indices wise, what are we predicting? New month, it's closed above that. Let's look at here, closed above that, and here just wigged it. Okay, so all of them seem fairly bullish except the final one, but will probably end up lagging in the direction. So once these two have made a significant bullish run, it will follow suit. What we're expecting from here now is price to potentially come lower into the range, and then look to continue higher, creating new highs. Same with this, come lower into there. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, into there now potentially. If it does start moving a lot lower, may see it come back into there. Previously discussed, it's been just stuck here at the moment. We did predict it to start heading down into there, or essentially into there last week, but at this moment in time it was just stuck there. It was most likely because it was the last week of that month, so had to show signs of it doing something with this fair value gap. So you can see closed above for that end of the month. So we could predict now for this new start of the month that it will likely come lower into there, or potentially even half of the range, and then look to go higher from there. So that's what we're predicting in ES. Same with NQ and here. So here potentially lower into there if it does decide to go lower. But yeah, that is what we are predicting for those three. We could do a bit of gold if need be. Gold, this moment in time, coming back down into there. What I would want to see from here is now price start to move up higher, taking these, coming up into there. It's ranged a decent bit lower. It's respecting this fair value gap right now. So ideally bullish is the intended direction. But yeah, I think that's all the major stuff that we've covered today. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. If you want more of this, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you're up to date when I go live every week on the Sunday. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed, and thank you for watching. Peace.